So overall, I think this is going to be a positive transit for many of us, simply because Taurus is an earth sign. Taurus is a financial sign. It rules the second house of the zodiac, and it is a stable sign. So whatever it is that's going to change at this time, it's more likely to stick around and stay around in your life for a few years to come, or for many years to come, simply because Saturn is also sextiling this conjunction, and Saturn is the one who solidifies whatever Jupiter expands, and whatever Uranus brings in suddenly, whatever breakthroughs happen as a result of rebellion or as a result of the unexpected. So this is the time that our life is going to be pushed forward. Things that you thought were going to take years things that you thought would take years to happen could all of a sudden happen as a result of this conjunction. So we are being propelled forward into our future. Remember, as I keep saying, the previous total solar eclipse in Aries is another point where our paths, where our karma and our past, our fate is being accelerated. Things which should normally take a longer time to achieve or fulfill could all of a sudden be fulfilled as a result of the total solar eclipse in Aries, and as a result of this conjunct, as a result of the Jupiter-Uranus conjunction. Remember, I keep telling you that they're working together. There's a pivot point from the solar eclipse, and there is a magical transit, the Cinderella transit, happening at the same time. So it's very likely that some of you go from rags to riches, and unfortunately, it's also very likely that some people go from riches to rags. It just all depends on what is promised in your natal birth chart and what else this conjunction is aspecting in your chart. So if you want to find out how this is going to work out for you personally, I suggest that you book a reading with me at rachel-mayo.com. I'm running a special just for this particular conjunction, the Jupiter-Uranus conjunction reading, which is only $80. So book now. Since Taurus is a financial house, the natural ruler of the second house, it's very likely that some people will have financial windfalls. Some of you could win big with the stock market. Some of you could win really big at the casinos. But I'm not encouraging every one of you to go out there and spend every last penny. If you can afford to lose some money, you can take a chance and buy a few lottery tickets. This is a favorable time for you to take a gamble. It is possible that you win something. As I said, remember, you have to have the natal promise in your chart. The people that are more likely to have a very positive outcome with this conjunction are people who have planets in the earth signs and the water signs, but most likely the earth signs, simply because they are going to have a supporting trine to this conjunction. The earth signs are Taurus, Capricorn, and Virgo. The water signs are Cancer, Scorpio, and Pisces. The water signs are going to have a sextile aspect that is a supporting aspect, which requires you to take action in order to have anything happen. So this is an aspect that will dissipate if you do not use it. The trine aspect is a harmonious aspect that will make this energy flow very harmoniously to your placements. It's going to make things happen effortlessly. We're going to break down the meaning of this conjunction by looking at 3 houses of the zodiac. And this is why listening to the whole introduction of this video is going to be very important, because there's so many planets that are being activated at the time of this conjunction. It will be impossible for me to go through it will be impossible for me to repeat all this information for all the 12 signs. If you like the content of this video, please hit like, share, and subscribe. Hello YouTube, my name is Rachel Mayo. Welcome to my channel and thank you for being here. I'm going to be discussing the Jupiter-Uranus conjunction that is happening on the 20th of April 2024. The Jupiter-Uranus conjunction is happening at 21 degrees of Taurus. So if you have anything at 21 degrees of Taurus or the other fixed signs, a few degrees before or a few degrees after, if you have any points, planets, or angles at 21 degrees, you're also going to feel this intensely, especially if it's exactly at this degree. The other people who are going to be highly affected by this conjunction are people who have a Jupiter-Uranus aspect in their chart, especially if your Jupiter or Uranus is also aspecting this conjunction. So I have Jupiter square Uranus in my natal birth chart. So this aspect tends to really shake my life up. Jupiter conjunct Uranus will bring surprises, breakthroughs, and sudden opportunities. Expect the unexpected, but most likely in this case, it's going to be something really good. We're going to have a breakthrough. Jupiter is the planet of abundance, and Uranus is the planet of rebellion and the unexpected. This is going to be epic. These planets conjunct every 14 years, so this is a really rare transit. Uranus takes 84 years to go around the zodiac. Jupiter takes 12 years to go around the zodiac. So essentially this means that the last time that they met in the sign of Taurus was about 84 years ago. This is a once in a lifetime transit. So it's going to absolutely shake up. It's absolutely going to change your life. In my discussions, I only focus on personal astrology. If you want to know how this aspect is going to affect us as humanity, I suggest you find another astrologer to listen to the mundane astrology of this conjunction. I'm only going to stick to how it's going to affect you personally. So I'm not the type of astrologer that's going to tell you that everyone is going to win the lottery or everyone is going to inherit money. It doesn't work like that. You have to have the natal promise in your own chart. You have to have the promise in your natal birth chart. If that promise is not there, it's not going to happen. You could have something really positive happen in the Taurus area of your chart. And winning the lottery does not necessarily mean winning money for everyone. It could just be a breakthrough, something that has been stagnant in that area. As we all know, Taurus is a fixed sign. So it is a fixed sign and Taurus does not like change. However, this conjunction, the earth is literally going to shake. There will be some type of a breakthrough. We're going to go back and look at the previous dates when this conjunction happened so we can have an idea of how our lives were previously shaken up. I'm going to look at probably 3 conjunctions. We had another conjunction in 2010. It happened twice. We had one on 8th June 2010 and again on 18th September 2010. Previous Jupiter-Uranus conjunction happened on the 4th of January 2011, and this one happened at 0 degrees of Aries. The later dates are going to be on 8th September 2037 and also on the 19th of February 2038. So how did you experience the last Jupiter-Uranus conjunction in 2011? My personal experience with this one was not very positive. I'm going to share my experience with the last conjunction simply because I don't want people to think that this is the conjunction where they're going to have a very positive breakthrough or they're going to win the lottery or it's going to be positive for everybody. That is not the case. This conjunction could be quite negative. It could bring some major losses, major financial losses, and perhaps even loss of life. Jupiter expands whatever it touches, and sometimes Jupiter is present at times of death. And Uranus is the planet of the unexpected. So, hello, nobody expects to die the day they die. It just happens unexpectedly sometimes due to some event like an accident. And unfortunately for me, it was a very negative experience. I'm going to break this down. I'm going to break this down astrologically. On, I believe, 5th of January, we had a solar eclipse in Capricorn, and it was on top of the ruler of my 7th house. So that means the ruler of my 7th house, my partnerships, my marriage, got eclipsed. And then this conjunction in the sign of Aries was slowly moving out of the sign of Pisces. And Pisces is the last sign of the zodiac. This is the sign where things come to die. This is the sign where things come to end. So essentially Jupiter and Uranus were completing cycles in the sign of Pisces. That is endings, major life endings. So unfortunately for me, this is the time that my husband died in a car accident. Jupiter expanding the unexpected, car accident, unexpected. And so if something like this happens to somebody else, just understand that these planets do represent exactly that. The unexpected expanded. Before this conjunction happened, it was essentially closing chapters, and it happened at 0 degrees of Aries. 0 degrees of Aries is where we begin anew. It's the very first sign of the zodiac. So essentially that meant I had to begin anew. This was a totally brand new chapter in my life. Negative, but totally brand new chapter. So if something negative happens in your life, I sympathize with you. It is life, it happens to humans. My heart goes out to you. So I'm truly hoping this Jupiter-Uranus conjunction in the sign of Taurus is going to bring me something positive. I also noticed with my clients that most of the things that they achieved with that the prior conjunction kind of did dissolve away because of the fact that it was very close to the beginning and the end. So with that conjunction, there was a major theme of endings and new beginnings. Some signs are definitely going to have a financial breakthrough if this activation is happening in a financial house, or if Jupiter and Uranus rule your financial houses. Everyone is going to be affected by this conjunction because we all have Taurus somewhere in our chart. But the people who are going to be highly affected are, of course, Taurus risings, the fixed signs, especially Taurus, simply because this conjunction is happening in your sign. The other fixed signs who are going to feel this quite intensely are Leo, Aquarius, Scorpio. So all the fixed signs are going to be activated. Other people who are going to be really affected by this conjunction are people who were born on the 20th of April, a few days before or a few days after. You're going to have this dynamic energy in your solar return chart. So this is also an excellent time for you to get a solar return chart reading with me at rachel-mayo.com. This is a year that you're going to remember for a very long time to come. This is the year that you're going to have major brand new beginnings, major shakeups in the Taurus area of your chart. We're going to look at Taurus, where this conjunction is happening. We're also going to look at the houses that Jupiter rules. Jupiter rules 2 houses, Sagittarius and Pisces, and we're also going to look at which house Uranus rules. We cannot understand this eclipse without looking back at the total solar eclipse in Aries. So if you have not listened to the video on that eclipse, I suggest that you go back and listen to it, because Venus, the ruler of this conjunction and the ruler of the South Node, is reactivating the eclipse point. So let's talk a bit about Taurus. Taurus is a fixed sign. Taurus is the most fixed of all the fixed signs because it's also an earth sign. So this is where we're most resistant to change. The Sun square Pluto aspect is going to allow transformation to take place. Mars is ruling Jupiter because Mars is transiting Jupiter's sign, Pisces. So there is a mutual reception going on between these 2 signs. Saturn is sextiling this conjunction, giving us an opportunity to make changes that are going to last for a very long time in our life. Saturn is a supporter, and he's putting a seal on things. Jupiter brings expansion, and Saturn stabilizes that expansion. The Mars-Jupiter sextile aspect brings a lot of energy. It's going to make us feel very confident, strong, enthusiastic, and really optimistic. So if we've been afraid of making change and taking action to make that change, this aspect is supporting just that, for us to make some changes in this area. Jupiter is hosting Mars in the sign of Pisces, making Mars a spiritual warrior in this sign. Mars sextile Uranus aspect, it increases our desire for fun and excitement. We get inspired and motivated to take action on the things that we've been putting off, or the things that we've been really afraid of changing. the breakthrough is going to come upon us very fast. Fortunately, Saturn is supporting this rebellion or breakthrough. The Jupiter-Uranus conjunction is going to happen on the 20th of April, and it's happening at 11 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Make sure you find out what time it's happening in your own area so that you can find out what the correct ascendant is. Jupiter-Uranus conjunction is sextile Mars. It is the most exact aspect of this conjunction, and this is really important because Mars is the ruler of the Mars is the ruler of the transiting north node in Aries. Mars rules the sign of Aries. However, Mars is still transiting the sign of Pisces. The other reason why Mars sextiling this Jupiter-Uranus conjunction is very important is the fact that Mars is the ruler of the transiting north node. So he is giving a supportive hand for those people who are going to take advantage of this aspect. The sextile aspect requires that you take action. You have to make an effort. This is a Martian aspect. And because Mars is transiting in the last sign of the zodiac, he is ending things there. So he's not as powerful in the sign of Pisces. We have to listen to our subconscious, listen to your intuition. If you've not watched my previous video on the Aries total solar eclipse, I suggest that you go back and watch that. It's almost like the eclipse is the pivot point. So something that happens at the solar eclipse is going to be part of the culmination, is leading up to this conjunction. Mars is the ruler of the north node. He represents your goal-oriented energy. Where are you going? What are you going to do to get towards your north node? What actions are you going to take? So we may be feeling quite energized and wanting to take action at the time of this conjunction. However, like I kept saying in my previous video, Mars in the sign of Pisces is at the end of the zodiac. So he's there pretty much concluding things. He's not really ready to initiate. However, with this conjunction, things are just going to happen. I'm a Western tropical astrologer, so that means I use whole sign system. I use this system to read for the public. However, if you're getting a personal reading with me, I use the Placidus system because I find that to be much more exact. I suggest that you listen to your ascendant, your sun sign, and your moon sign. There are other houses which are going to be activated by this transit, so you'll probably end up listening to about 5 or 6 signs. And this is because Jupiter rules Sagittarius and Pisces. Uranus is a co-ruler of Aquarius. All these houses have a say in this conjunction. If you're new to my channel and have not yet subscribed, please hit the subscribe button, It's right below this video, the red button. It's not a commitment. Jupiter-Uranus conjunction is going to bring shakeups in your Taurus house. So if you've been working really hard at something and you have not seen results, you are going to see some results as a result of this conjunction. Most people are thinking that they're going to get the results of this conjunction on the very day. It's not going to happen on that very day. This is a process that's going to unfold over the next 14 years. You may get a hint, an inkling of what is unfolding, but not everything is going to happen that very day. This video is going to be essentially valid for the next 14 years. So you can always come back to this video and see how things are unfolding. The house where we have Taurus is the area where we're most resistant to change, we're most stubborn. Taurus is the most fixed of the fixed signs. So some of us have been anxiously waiting for this shakeup of our Taurus house. Uranus has been in the sign of Taurus since May 2018. So it has been slowly shaking up this area, and Jupiter joined this area last year and is going to exit sometime in May into the sign of Gemini. So Jupiter is really going to expand whatever he was trying to bring to you in this area. Taurus is a financial house, so this really might be about finances, our values, our self-esteem. Taurus is the natural second house of the zodiac. It rules over our earning ability, our ability to provide for ourselves or to provide for ourselves and our family. Taurus also rules over our self-esteem. Obviously, if you're earning a living, you're doing something productive, you feel good about yourself and your self-esteem is secure. If those things are not happening for you, then you have a reduced then you have a lower self-esteem. Taurus also rules over our values that we live by, and the things that we love and value. Taurus also rules the mouth, what we put in our mouth. Essentially, this means our food. It also means our voice, the things that we say. Those are all going to be very important. Those are all going to be part of this shakeup. So let's take a quick look at the aspects in this chart. This chart is created for my location, which is New York. The ascendant falls in Sagittarius. Sagittarius is ruled by Jupiter, so making this chart really strong. We're not going to look at the houses, we're only going to look at the aspects, because this is a general reading for everyone. The ascendant may be different for each location, but the aspects will remain the same. So let's move on to the Taurus house. We'll see that the sun is in Taurus, so this is the area of focus, and this is where the Jupiter-Uranus conjunction is. So look at your Taurus house. The sun just entered the sign of Taurus. It's about at 1 degree and is squaring Pluto, who is at about 2 degrees of Aquarius. This square is going to push us into taking into taking action, transformative action that is going to affect the Taurus house and the Aquarius house. The most exact aspect of this conjunction is the sextile to Mars. Mars, who's currently transiting at 22 degrees of Pisces. The sextile aspect is an aspect of effort. It brings us positive energy. It brings us opportunities that we have to take advantage of by taking action. If you don't take action with the sextile aspect, the aspect just dissipates. We also have Saturn supporting this conjunction. It is a wide sextile because Saturn is at 15 degrees of Pisces, sextile the conjunction at 21 degrees of Taurus. This aspect is still valid because all three are outer moving planets, and with outer moving planets, an aspect can be felt up to about 10 degrees away. Pluto is trining the moon at 29.55 degrees of Virgo. It's almost out of the sign, so this is an out of sign trine. The moon moves really fast, so they are going to be in an exact trine in a few hours, so that is still valid. The Jupiter-Uranus conjunction is also slightly trine the moon. The moon is adding some support to this conjunction. The moon is, however, also opposite Neptune, adding to some delusion and some fantastical thinking. So we have to be watchful for that. Fortunately enough, this aspect is happening pretty late here in New York. It's happening at 11 p.m. So I don't expect people to be buying lottery tickets at that time. But if you do go out and gamble, just make sure you're not gambling the farm, due to this aspect of the moon being opposite Neptune, leading you to think that everything positive will happen. It's not so. That is not so. It's also very possible to lose very big at this time. The conjunction is happening in Taurus, so we have to look for Venus. Venus is the ruler of this conjunction. She is the dispositor. Where is Venus? Venus, let's also keep in mind that Venus is the ruler of the transiting south node in Libra. She is currently transiting in the sign of Aries. She is in detriment in this sign because she rules the sign of Libra and Taurus. So we have to keep that in mind. Venus is transiting conjunct Chiron at 1942 degrees of Aries. She's going to conjunct the eclipse degree the next day, therefore activating the Aries total solar eclipse that we just had on the 8th of April. And like I said, if you have not watched the video on the eclipse, I suggest that you go back, because whatever happened at the eclipse has a connection to what's happening at this conjunction. I did also talk about that Cinderella transit, which is a magical transit. This is a transit that can absolutely bring something really positive. Remember that Venus just recently also conjuncted the North Node. That is a karmic transit. Venus is definitely bringing something positive. Venus is definitely bringing something positive as a result of the North Node conjunction and as a result of the Venus-Chiron conjunction. It's called the Cinderella transit, a magical transit. If you want to know more about this transit, You can just Google Cinderella transit astrology. Usually this brings a karmic fated partner into your life, somebody who is almost just like a dream come true. This is the transit that actually brought my late husband into my life. He was an absolute prince. I felt so lucky to have met this person in my life. From the moment we met, we knew that we meant much more to each other. We got married 2 months after meeting. This is not necessarily going to happen for everyone. It could happen for you if Venus is your descendant ruler. That would mean that you are either an Aries or a Scorpio. And also for Aries, because this conjunction is happening in your sign. So if you'd like to know how this is going to affect you according to your natal birth chart, I suggest that you book a reading with me. I am offering a special Jupiter-Uranus conjunction reading for $80. It's a limited time special, so book now. If you're new to my channel and have not yet subscribed, please hit the subscribe button, It's right below this video, the red button. It's not a commitment. If you're new to my channel and have not yet subscribed, please hit the subscribe button, It's right below this video, the red button. It's not a commitment. Aries, ascendant, sun, or moon. Your sign does not aspect Taurus because it's the sign right after you. The Jupiter-Uranus conjunction is happening in your second house, and this is where you're going to have a brand new 14-year cycle. Jupiter rules your ninth house. The ninth house is the lucky house, making this conjunction a bit luckier for you. However, Jupiter also rules your 12th house, and this is where you have to exercise a bit of caution because of the 2 houses that Jupiter rules. The 12th house also rules losses, so you have to be careful if you're trying to go out there and gamble. There is a chance that you could lose a lot of money as a result of this conjunction. It could be a situation where you're feeling really lucky and perhaps you win some money in the beginning, but because you keep going, you end up losing your winnings. So be very careful. So we also have to look at what Uranus rules in your chart. Uranus rules your 11th house. This is also a financial house. This is the house that rewards all the work that we did in the 10th house. This is the house where we get the promotions, the financial accolades. So we're bringing the 9th house ruler, the 12th house ruler, and the 11th house ruler in the second house. This is very positive. Some of you could have a chance to begin a very profitable business venture that is going to really change your life. Others of you could get funding from a benefactor because of the activation of the 11th house, ruler at the time of this conjunction. Your ruling planet Mars is very active at the time of this conjunction. Mars is sextile Jupiter and Uranus. It's going to increase your desire for having fun and excitement, making you feel strong and invincible. So Jupiter is expanding your self-esteem. You're going to feel like you can take over the world. Avoid taking big risks with your money because Uranus energy is very unpredictable. Essentially, you are one of the signs that could win really big if you gamble at this time. This is a general reading, so if you really want to know how this is going to affect you, according to your natal birth chart, I suggest that you book a reading with me at rachel-mayo.com. This is a really life-transforming transit. This could be the time when you begin a business that is going to support you for the next 14 years. This business could be really successful if you use the internet because the 11th house your 11th house is also being activated. If you have not listened to my previous video on the total Aries solar eclipse, I suggest that you go back and listen to that video because it has so much more information about the Cinderella transit. You are one of the signs that could have a magical moment because of the solar eclipse and this conjunction. So go back and listen to that video for more information. Taurus, ascendant, sun, or moon. The conjunction is happening in your sign, so you are going to be the sign that is most affected by this conjunction. The Jupiter-Uranus conjunction is happening in your first house, on your ascendant. This is an angle house, making it a very sensitive point. And when one of the angles is activated in this way, it activates all the other angles in your chart, especially if your angle is at 21 degrees of Taurus, A conjunction is one of the most potent aspects in astrology. This is going to change your life in a very, very big way. All the other angles are going to be activated as a result of this conjunction. That means that your descendant is also activated, and that's your partnerships, that is your committed partnerships, business partners, marriage. Your IC, the most sensitive point in the zodiac, is also activated. That is your home, your mother, your family, your ancestry. And opposite the IC is the MC, the highest point of the zodiac, which rules over your standing in society, the government, the work that you do. All these areas are going to be activated. This means everything in your life could absolutely change at this time. Is it going to be positive or is it going to be negative? I'm not looking at your chart and seeing all the other aspects. Venus, your ruling planet, is transiting Aries and is activating the eclipse point at the time of this conjunction. This is very fated and karmic. Venus is your ruler, and Venus is your ruling planet. She's the ruler of the south node, and she's conjunct Chiron at this time, activating the Cinderella transit, the magical transit. So something really magical and unexpected could be happening for you at this time. You could be the Cinderella of the zodiac at this time. The magical transit does not necessarily only mean that you're going to meet Prince Charming. It could be that, or something really surprising and really lovely could happen for you, and it could have something to do with money or love. Taurus, if you've not listened to the beginning of this video, I suggest that you go back and listen to the whole introduction. You will get much more information from the introduction. So let's see what Jupiter rules in your chart. Jupiter rules your 8th house and your 11th house. These are both financial houses. The 8th house rules over other people's money. Money that we did not earn, money that is given to us because perhaps of a death in the family and you inherit you get an inheritance, or some type of winning, some type of lottery win, or perhaps you get a mortgage, a loan. The 11th house is another financial house. It is the house that rewards that work that we did in the 10th house. So it's also the house of our hopes, dreams, and wishes. It is the house of the groups that we belong to, our benefactors. So these houses are being activated. So Taurus, 8th and 11th house are being activated. So these are financial houses. This means that you are one of the signs that could also essentially win big. You could get a financial windfall. Perhaps you're going to get some type of inheritance, or you're going to get some type of funding to initiate a business, because the 8th house rules other people's money. The 11th house is the house that rewards all the work that we do in the 10th house, which is also going to be activated simply because all your angles are activated. We also have to look at what Uranus rules. Uranus rules your 10th house, your status in society, the work that you do for a living, your public image. How does the world see you? So as you can see, these 4 areas are being activated. It could be that you get a huge and unexpected promotion. Perhaps you get a recognition in the groups that you belong to, or you initiate an internet business that really takes off because this area is being activated, and essentially you the ascendant, you Taurus, are being activated to be bold and courageous, to take this action and initiate this business. Other people are going to look at you as you're acting unpredictable and unusual, or there's a major change to your identity because you've changed your appearance in some way. And since Jupiter is transiting your house and Jupiter expands whatever it touches, it could be that you expand a certain body part. Perhaps you go for breast augmentation, or you just change something on your person, really radically, and it's looked upon as a bit unusual for your character. This conjunction is encouraging you to really not care what people think and just to be yourself. So I can see this applying to certain individuals who may want to change their name, or how they identify sexually. Some people could even have a sex change. Some people could decide to have a sex change in the next 14 years. Taurus, this is a once in a lifetime transit, and it's happening in your sign. It's never going to happen in your sign again unless you're a vampire. So really take this moment, this chance, to really radically change your identity and how other people see you. This conjunction is being supported by Saturn, so whatever changes you make at this time, they're likely to stay in your life for a very, very long time. Taurus, if you'd like to know how this conjunction is going to affect you according to your sign, I suggest that you book a reading with me at rachel-mayo.com. Gemini, ascendant, sun or moon. There is no aspect between you and Taurus because it is the next sign. The Jupiter-Uranus conjunction is happening in your 12th house. This is where you're going to have a brand new 14-year cycle. The 12th house is the hidden house. This is the house of rest, dreams, and other worlds. It's a psychic house. It is the house that also rules over foreign lands, far off foreign lands. It is also the house that rules over our hidden enemies and our self-sabotaging habits. We can be our own enemy through that. It also rules over our addictions and things that we do away from the public, like behind the scenes. So for some of you, it could mean that your third eye is open, your subconscious is open, or you're getting messages through your dreams. Some people will have their psychic abilities awaken at this time. Others of you could receive messages from your ancestors, because this is also the area that rules over generational karma, other generations before you. Since this area also rules over foreign lands, it's easy to say that some of you could decide to move to a foreign land at this time, while others of you will have something really major, something life-changing happen in a foreign land if you're already visiting in a foreign land. Let's look at what Jupiter rules in your chart. Jupiter rules your 7th house of committed relationships, business partnerships. It essentially rules the other people because it rules your descendant. Jupiter also rules your 10th house. This is a public house. It is an area where whatever happens there, it's there for the public to see. It rules over our standing in society. It also rules over the government, our status in society, which could be either be seen as a married person, a single person, a widowed person, or perhaps even a politician. And Uranus rules your 9th house. The 9th house rules over the justice system, higher education, our belief system. It is the house of the future. It also rules over priests and gurus. It rules over universities. So here you have the 12th house where this conjunction is happening. The 12th house is also the house of loss. So you are one of the people that should take caution and not go out there and try and gamble all your money. There is a real possibility of losses. Also make sure you're not investing all your money into stocks or some other questionable investments. The other reason I would say to be careful is because you're ruled by Mercury, and Mercury is currently transiting retrograde at this time. That's another reason for you to exercise caution. Jupiter is bringing 7th and 10th house energy to this conjunction in your 12th house. This could mean that you probably get married to a foreigner or in a foreign land, and your status changes as a result of that. And maybe for some people this could be a pathway to getting a green card or citizenship in a foreign land. For others, because the 9th house is also activated, some of you could decide to go and study abroad, or you could get some type of opportunity in a foreign land because of your association to a foreigner or some other type of committed relationship. Some of you could decide to open a business in a foreign land with a partner. Others of you could decide to start a business partnership and open a hospital or some other type of institution, like a mental institution, or perhaps even a prison. This is a difficult transit to pinpoint simply because there's so many planets that are being activated at this time, and I don't know how it's aspecting your own natal birth chart. So if you'd like to know how it's going to affect you according to affect you personally, I suggest that you book a reading with me at rachel-mayo.com. Cancer ascendant, sun or moon. This conjunction is probably going to affect you positively simply because there is a sextile aspect to your sign. The Jupiter-Uranus conjunction is going to happen in your 11th house. This is the area where you're going to have a brand new 14-year cycle. The 11th house is the house that rewards the work that we do in the 10th house. This is the house where we receive the accolades, the promotions, and the recognition in the groups that we belong to, and also from our friends, our uncles, and our aunties. So those are the areas where you're going to have this brand new cycle. The 11th house also rules the groups and communities that we belong to. It also rules the social media platforms that we're a part of. So essentially that means some of you could receive an award, a promotion, or some type of recognition in the groups that you belong to. If you've been trying for many years to join a group or to be accepted into a group, this is the time that you will be suddenly accepted. Let's look at the other houses that Jupiter rules in your sign. Jupiter rules the 6th house and the 9th house. The 6th house is the house of our daily routine, our health habits, our exercise habits. This is the house where we fight. It's also the house of our known enemies. And those known enemies could be perhaps our co-workers or even a disease. The 9th house rules over our future. This is the house where we legalize things. This is the house of law and order. This is the house of foreigners and foreigners. It is also the house of our hopes, dreams, and wishes. It rules over gurus. And what does Uranus rule? It rules your 8th house. 8th house rules over other people's money that we did not earn, loans, mortgages, financial windfalls, inheritances. So all those things could happen for you suddenly and unexpectedly. It could be that some of you unexpectedly get financial backing through a benefactor to perhaps finance a venture or some type of business that you've been wanting to start, perhaps even an online business. If you do start an online business at around the time of this conjunction, it's very likely to be very successful because the 11th house does rule over the internet. Your ruling planet, the moon, moves very fast. However, it is aspecting this conjunction by a trine aspect because it's finishing its transit in the sign of Virgo. So I would say you're seeing things really clearly. You're ambitious, but you're being very realistic. You're really making sure to separate what is fantasy and what is reality. So if you take the proper actions, take advantage of the opportunities that are presented to you at this time, it's very likely that you make changes that are going to be very long lasting, that are going to last for a very long time in your life. So Cancer, you are one of the other signs that could get a financial windfall because the financial houses are being activated. These windfalls could be as a result of all the work that you did before, because the 11th house rewards the work that you did before in the 10th house, and it shows, and also because your 6th house is activated. This means that whatever changes at this time is something that is going to stay in your daily environment, something that you're going to work on daily. You're going to have to apply yourself to get rewards of this conjunction. It is a sextile aspect to your sign after all, and the sextile aspect is an aspect of effort. So Cancer, if you'd like to know how this is going to affect you personally, I suggest that you book a reading with me at rachel-mayo.com. Leo, ascendant, sun or moon. The Jupiter-Uranus conjunction is happening in your 10th house. This is the area where you're going to have a brand new 14-year cycle. You're going to aspect this conjunction by a square aspect. A square aspect is a difficult and challenging aspect which will push you into taking action. The 10th house is an angle house, so when an angle house is activated, all the other angles in your chart are also activated. So the opposite angle that I see, your home, your family, your ancestry is also activated. Your partnership area, the seventh house, is also activated, and the opposite house, you, the ascendant, is also activated. The major activity is going to be seen in the 10th house, and it's going to be very public, because whatever happens in the 10th house is known to the public. The 10th house rules over our status in society, the work that we do, the government. It is a parental axis, so this could essentially have something to do with one of your parents, the more dominant parent, which could also be your mother, but mostly your father. This area also rules over our status in society. So for some of you that are single, for some of you could go from single to married, or married to divorced, or married to widowed. It just all depends on what's being aspected in your own natal birth chart. Some of you could get a promotion, and some of you who have not been employed for a while, you could start a new job, a job that really puts you out there and puts your name on the puts your name on the map. Others of you could become a politician, because this is a major change of status. Some of you could get inspired and start your own business at this time. Jupiter rules your 5th house and your 8th house. These are also financial houses. Essentially, this means that you could get very lucky at this time and have some type of huge transformation, because your 5th house of luck is activated, and your 8th house of other people's money is also activated. And let's keep in mind that Uranus rules your 7th house. This is your partnership house. It rules over your marriage, your business partner. Any other person that you have an interaction with is ruled by the 7th house. So Leo, since your lucky houses are activated at this time, it could be that you are the one of the signs that gets a financial windfall at this time. Perhaps you're going to get funding for you to initiate a business, or perhaps the luck could come from your partner, because the 7th house is also activated. The 7th Uranus rules your 7th house and is part of this conjunction. So perhaps this money could be coming as funding that your partner perhaps won, or perhaps it's your business partner that gets funding and pumps in more money into your business. Your ruling planet, the sun, has just entered the sign of Taurus, where this conjunction is, and is squaring Pluto. So the sun and Pluto are also forcing some type of transformation at the time of this conjunction. To just throw some things out there, some of you could have something really lucky come in as a result of your creative ability. And the 5th house also rules over our children, so it could have something to do with your children. So perhaps something really nice happens for one of your children, and it affects you somehow. It affects your standing in society. Oh, well, some of you could get pregnant. If you've been trying to get pregnant for a while and you couldn't get pregnant, this conjunction is essentially activating your 5th house. Is essentially activating your 5th house ruler. So you could see some positive results at this time, or over the next 14 years. And since Jupiter rules your 8th house, perhaps some of you will get an inheritance as a result of somebody transitioning. There's so many possibilities that could happen as a result of this conjunction, which is initiating a brand new 14-year cycle in your chart. So if you'd like to know how this is going to affect you personally, I suggest that you book a reading with me at rachel-mayo.com. Virgo, ascendant, sun, or moon. This conjunction is probably going to be quite positive for you. Virgo is an earth sign, so it means there is a trine aspect to this conjunction. The Jupiter-Uranus conjunction is happening in your 9th house. This is where you have a brand new 14-year cycle. Virgo, I think this transit is really going to be positive for you, simply because your sign trines the sign of Taurus. Water and earth are fertile together, so usually something grows, something that is stable. Virgo, 9th house is a lucky house. The 9th house rules over the future. It is a Jupiterian house, Sagittarius is the natural 9th house of the zodiac and is ruled by Jupiter. So he is going to protect his own house. The 9th house rules over foreign lands, foreigners, the law. It also rules over judges. It rules over professors, gurus, priests. It also rules it also rules over higher education, like universities and colleges. It also rules over the bigger picture. What is your future? What are your wishes for your future? It rules also over your belief system. So these are the areas where you're going to find major changes. For instance, if you've been waiting for a green card for a very long time, this is the chance that you are going to suddenly get the news that get the news that you are going to get your green card. If it is an issue of citizenship that you've been waiting on, it's more than likely that you will get some news in the following weeks about the status of your citizenship. For others who've been wanting to travel to a foreign land, perhaps you've been waiting on a visa, this is the time that you'll probably make that decision to travel to that foreign land. Others of you who've been waiting to get approved into a college, a prestigious university, this is the time that you're going to get the good news. So let's look at what other houses Jupiter rules in your chart. Jupiter rules over your fourth house. The fourth house rules over homeland, family, your mother, your ancestry. So it's also very lucky that some of you will move to a foreign country, or over the next few years you'll be traveling a lot to other countries, and maybe you might like it so much there and choose to migrate over there. So it's very likely that some of you do have a change, a major move within the next 14 years. Jupiter also rules your seventh house. Seventh house rules over our committed relationships, the serious ones, business partnerships, marriage, anything that you have to do with another person, trade, sex. The seventh house rules over those issues. So it's very likely that some of you do actually get married within the next few years, simply because the seventh house, as I said, the seventh house rules committed relationships, and the ninth house is where we legalize things. It's where we get the marriage license. So let's look at what Uranus rules. Uranus rules over your sixth house. So Uranus is part of this conjunction, so we also have to include what could possibly happen. The sixth house rules over our health habits, our daily routine, our exercise regimen. So it also rules over diseases and all our other health issues. If some of you have health problems, this could be the time that you find medical treatment that's really going to work for you. And this treatment could be in a foreign country. You could get treated with non-traditional type of medicine, perhaps Chinese medicine. The ninth house is stimulated. The sixth house is also stimulated. It also brings about the idea of getting a work visa to go and work in a foreign land. So all these houses are activated. The only way we can tell how this conjunction is going to aspect you personally is by looking at your own natal birth chart. So if you'd like to get a reading with me, you can book me at rachel-mayo.com. I'm not done with you yet. We have to look at what Mercury is doing, because Mercury is your ruling planet. Mercury is currently still going retrograde. So that means that whatever you're thinking or wanting to do at this time, it's best for you to wait until your ruling planet, Mercury, is moving direct. If you can avoid signing documents, signing on the dotted line for anything, I'd suggest you wait until your ruling planet is moving direct. So it's also very likely that there'll be major changes in the home area or with your mother, because the fourth house is being activated at the same time. Jupiter rules your fourth house. So you expect to see changes there too. Another situation that could happen as a result of the sixth house being activated is that you could pay off debt. The sixth house rules over debt. Libra, ascendant, sun, or moon. The aspect between you and Taurus is a quincunx. This is an aspect that is of really pretty much no aspect. It's like you are houses that really don't see each other in the zodiac, even though you have the same ruler and Venus is highly activated at this conjunction. Venus also rules your sign. So if you have not watched the beginning of this video, I suggest you go back and listen to the introduction. And I'm also going to suggest that you watch my previous video on the solar eclipse, in the Aries solar eclipse, because it has a lot of valuable information that is really going to help you put everything together. Everything actually starts from that solar eclipse. The Jupiter-Uranus conjunction is happening in your 8th house. This is where you're going to see a brand new 14-year cycle. The 8th house rules over other people's money, money that we don't earn, money that is given to us or loaned to us. We can get this money through taxes. We can get an inheritance. We can also have financial windfalls. So since the 8th house is the house of unearned money, it is very likely that it is very likely that some of you could speculate and win big with the stock market, or perhaps you could win big with the lottery, or perhaps even a night out gambling. So let's look further and see what else Jupiter rules in your horoscope. Jupiter rules your 3rd house of siblings, neighbors, your immediate environment, technology, computers, all the other small gadgets that we use to just make our life easier. So you see there is a communication aspect here. There is a mental aspect because Jupiter in the 3rd house expands the mind, your thinking and your intelligence. So this part of your chart is also stimulated. The other house that Jupiter rules in your chart is the 6th house. The 6th house rules over your daily routine, your health habits, the work that you do on a daily basis. It also rules over our diet, our exercise regimen. It also rules over our known enemies, our health problems, diseases. This is all under the 6th house. So if you have any lawsuits going on at this time, they are stimulated and they're working in conjunction with the 3rd house. So what you say and what you write at this time is going to be very, very important. Where you sign on the dotted line is also going to be very important. So the other planet in the conjunction is Uranus. Uranus rules your 5th house. Fortunately for you, Libra, this is a very lucky house. This is the house of this is the house of good luck, our good luck karma from a past life. So you're not working for this good luck in this lifetime. It's luck that you've earned, it's luck that just comes to you, and it's being activated at this conjunction. It also rules over our creative ability, our talents that we could use to start a business and earn money. So if you're wanting to start a business or you've just recently started a business, you are going to see some traction. Things are just going to start flowing your way because the house of luck has been stimulated and the house of other people's money is also being stimulated at this conjunction. So Libra ascendant is one of the signs that I would say is going to have some type of financial windfall simply because the luck house is stimulated, the house of other people's money is stimulated, the 3rd house of effort, the effort that you're going to take at this time to lead to those financial windfalls or successes is also stimulated. So if you play your cards right, it's very likely that you get a major windfall at this time. On the other hand, for some of you, it could be that somebody passes in your family and they leave you an inheritance. After all, the 8th house does rule over death. It does rule over death and transformation. And on a happier note, some of you could suddenly meet somebody and start a really heavy, intimate, romantic relationship because the 5th house does also rule over romance, entertainment. This is an excellent time for you to take a vacation that could probably revitalize your relationship if your relationship has been lacking in fun and entertainment and intimacy. The 8th house rules over sex and deep intimacy. So if you need to spice up your relationship, this is the transit that's going to really jumpstart that in the right direction. Your ruling planet Venus is the ruler of this conjunction and is also the ruler of the transiting south node. So your ruling planet is currently transiting conjunct Chiron at around 20 degrees of Aries. Your ruling planet is the planet that is going to reactivate this conjunction. And let's not forget that your ruling planet did actually meet up with the North Node. So she brought a message there, something probably from the past, something that is really valuable to you that you're going to need moving forward. And that's actually going to be a part of this conjunction, whatever the result is. So if you have not listened to my Aries video, if you've not listened to the total eclipse video that I did, I suggest that you go back and listen to it. Libra, you are the person who's going to have you are the person who might bring something really magical to your relationship, to intimacy, because of uh, as a result of the efforts that you're going to make to perhaps bring some more fun into your relationship. So if you did decide to go on a vacation, it really would bring some magical energy to your relationship. It will be a very positive, it will be a very fulfilling and healing vacation for your relationship and for you yourself, for your soul. So Libra, if you'd like to know how this will affect you personally, I suggest you book a reading with me at rachel-mayo.com. Scorpio ascendant, sun or moon. I gave special attention to our sign simply because 2011 conjunction may not have been that favorable for most of us. I really think this conjunction in the sign of Taurus is going to be much more positive for us. It may start out a bit rough, but it's eventually going to smooth out into something that is absolutely life-changing. So please support me, like this video, share this video. Thank you. Share a comment, let me know how you think this conjunction is going to affect you this time, and subscribe to my channel. Scorpio ascendant, sun or moon, you are a fixed sign, so you're going to experience this transit quite personally and intensely. The seventh house is an angle house, and when an angle house is activated, all the other angles in the chart are also activated. So that means that your 10th house, the area of your work and public, is activated. Yourself, the ascendant, is activated. Your home area, your IC, your most intimate and personal area in the chart, is also activated. So this might be really life transforming for you, Scorpio. Although you might feel these changes through your partner, because Taurus is your descendant. This is the angle of the other person, and they are the ones who are having all these changes in their life, and all these changes as a result of all these changes, your life is also going to change. It could also be that your business partner is experiencing a lot of changes in their life, and that is going to trickle down to you. So Jupiter-Uranus conjunction is happening in your 7th house. This is where you're going to have a brand new 14-year cycle. It could be that your partner gets a sudden promotion and is bringing in more money, therefore changing the relationship, in that now you both have a lot more money to work with. It could be that your partner suddenly wants to be liberated from the relationship. They want to leave the relationship and be on their own. So perhaps you'll be getting a divorce suddenly at this time. But this divorce or separation will be actually welcome. This separation or divorce is not going to happen to people who have been happy. Uranus is a liberator. Jupiter is the one that brings the abundance and brings healing to situations. So if your relationship is intact, you don't have to worry about it. But if your relationship has been having problems, your partner might want out of the marriage. And if this is what happens to you, you should not worry about it, because Jupiter will bring in someone that's better suited for you. So embrace this change. And for others of you who are single and you've been looking for someone, Jupiter could bring somebody who's marriage material. You could initiate a relationship that is going to lead to marriage very soon. Because Uranus is there, Uranus wants things to happen fast and unexpectedly. So if you are single, this is definitely time for you to be out there and mingling, meeting people. Let's see what Jupiter rules in your chart. Jupiter rules your 2nd house and your 5th house. Lucky for you, Scorpio, these are financial houses. The 2nd house is it's a Taurus house. It is the house that rules over our earning ability, the ability to provide for ourselves and our family. So it is the work that you do, the business that you own. And it also rules over our self-esteem and what you love and value. The second house rules over the face, it rules over the mouth, what you say, and what you put in the mouth. The fifth house is a financial house also, it is the financial house also, in that it is the house of our creative ability. And as you know, a lot of people make money using their creativity, their talents. So this house is also going to be stimulated. The fifth house also rules over good luck, our good luck karma that we earned in our past life. We're not working for this good luck in this lifetime. It's just kind of handed to us. We already earned it. So it's really good to see this house. It's really good to see a positive transit by the ruler of this house. It also rules over creativity, our children. Our children are our greatest creation. So some of you could essentially be making money through your children. Perhaps your children are going to become celebrities, or some type of, perhaps your children are really talented and they're going to become celebrities in the next 14 years, and you start earning money through your children. Or perhaps some of you will start a business using your creative talents. Remember, the second house rules over your earning ability. So using the fifth house, you could suddenly have opportunities that will lead to you having a real career through your talents and your creativity. The fifth house also rules over romance and entertainment. So it's also likely that some of you meet someone really special and fall in love, deeply in love at this time. And please go back and watch the Aries total solar eclipse video that I did just recently, because there's a lot more information about the magical transit that I'm going to talk about, the Cinderella transit, which really applies to you because Venus, after all, does rule your descendant. You are one of the signs that could really meet somebody that you could fall deeply in love, and this person will feel like it's fated, they're the right person, it's a prince, it's a princess, that type of magical transit. If this magical transit does not bring love, it will bring some type of financial windfall. Again, you are one of the transits that's going to be very lucky and could win really big. Just don't bet all your money, only bet what you can afford to lose. I think you're going to win something, even if it's a small win. And it doesn't mean that because it doesn't mean because the conjunction is happening on the 20th and that's the only day. No, this transit is valid for the next 14 years. So it just depends on your own natal birth chart and what's really going on as to when or even how much, if you also have that natal promise in your chart. So if you'd like to know how this will affect you personally, I suggest that you book a reading with me so that we can go over your chart. The other planet I forgot to look at is Uranus. Uranus rules your fourth house. So the conjunction is with Uranus and Jupiter. We've already discussed Jupiter and what he could possibly bring. And Uranus is just going to speed it up and make it happen even faster than you thought it would probably happen. So the changes could also come in your fourth house, and they could come suddenly. So the fourth house rules over your ancestry, your family, your mother. It rules over your home and your deepest resentments. This is the most intimate place in the zodiac. This is where we are vulnerable and we're naked. So something could suddenly happen in your home area that's really fortunate. So perhaps some of you will suddenly decide to move, or some of you will buy a new house simply because perhaps you want some money or your business is doing so well and you decide to buy you decide to buy your dream home. Why not? Your ruling planet Mars is making the most exact aspect at this conjunction, so it means that you have some power here, you have some say, even though Mars in Pisces is really not that action oriented, but you have some say here. Mars is transiting your fifth house, Pisces. You see all these connections with the fifth house and the luck house. This transit is going to be awesome for you. This transit is going to be awesome for you, Scorpio. Sagittarius, ascendant, sun, or moon. There is no aspect between you and Taurus. These are signs which don't see each other. The Jupiter-Uranus conjunction is going to happen in your 6th house. This is where you're going to have a brand new 14-year cycle. The 6th house rules over our known enemies. Our known enemies could be diseases. The 6th house rules over our daily routine. It rules over our health. It rules over our work environment, the work that we do every day. It rules over our health habits, diseases. It rules over our it rules over our workout regimen. It just basically rules what you're doing on a day-to-day basis. This is the house where you're going to expect the most change. So let's say let's say you've been unemployed for a while and you're looking for employment. This is the transit that's suddenly going to bring a job. This transit that is going to bring a job. The type of job that it's going to bring to you is going to be somewhat unusual. You probably have never done this type of job in your life before, but this is what this transit is asking you to go for. Most astrologers would tell you that when Uranus started transiting their 6th house, it's when they decided to take astrology then to the next level and start doing it on a professional level. That is exactly what happened with me. So when Uranus is in the 6th house, it wants you to do something that's kind of unusual. And Uranus does rule astrology. So if you go for the regular 9 to 5, you might not last very long in that type of work. So embrace what is different and what is unusual. And if you have a health problem and you've been getting conventional treatments and they've not been working, perhaps it's time for you to try something that is unconventional and unusual. Perhaps it's time for you to try acupuncture or Chinese medicine or some other type of alternative treatment. You're more likely to get success. You're more likely to get healing you're more likely to get healing if you go for something unconventional. The 6th house is also the house of our known enemies and our co-workers. So perhaps if you have some issues going on at your place of work, this is the time that you might decide to go ahead and initiate a lawsuit. Or for some of you who have already had a lawsuit going on, this is the time you'll probably get some type of news, some type of positive news about your case. What does Jupiter rule in your chart? You are Sagittarius, so Jupiter rules you. So this is you really taking a hand, having a major say as to having a major say at this conjunction. And this is why this transit is going to impact you really personally, because Jupiter rules your ascendant, your body. So that's the other reason, your body. And with the 6th house being stimulated, it really does mean that something is happening to you, to your person, your actual body. So you might have a breakthrough there. You are Jupiter. You are Jupiter. You are lucky. The sextile from Saturn is putting some real stabilizing energy there. So whatever you begin at this time, it's very likely that it's going to last in your life for a while. The other house that Jupiter rules is your 4th house. So the 4th house rules over our home, our family, our deep emotions, our resentments, our ancestry. It is the house where we are most vulnerable. So perhaps some of you have been having issues with the home, with your living situation, with your family, or perhaps even your mother. These issues are going to be brought up, they're going to come up to a head at this time, and there will be a new chapter that is started in this area as well. We also have to look at what Uranus rules in your chart. Uranus rules your 3rd house of speech, of the mind, of communication. It also rules over our siblings, our immediate environment. It rules over technology, gadgets that we use on a day-to-day basis. So it means that perhaps in your new job or your new venture, you're going to be using very unusual or brand new type of technology, perhaps AI, that type of thing. So you have to be open to thinking unusual. You have to be open to new technology, to new ways of doing things in your daily routines, and to new ways of communicating, perhaps in your work environment or with your co-workers. So these are the areas that are stimulated and open. So whatever happens, whatever changes in your sixth house, it's going to include all these other houses. Your ruling planet Jupiter is part of this conjunction. So I've already mentioned all the other things that I've already mentioned all the other possibilities. If you haven't listened to the introduction of this video, I suggest you go back and listen to the whole introduction. And remember, the total solar eclipse in Aries was a pivot point. So you have to go and it was a pivot point for what is going to culminate at the time of this conjunction. If you'd like to know how this is going to affect you personally, I suggest that you book a reading with me at rachel-mayo.com. Capricorn ascendant, Sun, or Moon. This conjunction is going to bring positive results to this conjunction is most likely going to bring something really positive into your life because it's happening in the fifth house. The fifth house is a very lucky house. This is where you're going to have a brand new beginning, a brand new 14-year cycle. Capricorn is an earth sign. Taurus is an earth sign. So they have a trine aspect, and a trine aspect is the most harmonious aspect in astrology. It makes the energy flow harmoniously between the signs, so things are going to happen quite effortlessly and easily. The fifth house is the house of good luck, the good luck that we earned in the past life. So you're not working hard for this good luck to come your way in this lifetime. It's just going to happen naturally and effortlessly. The fifth house rules over our creative abilities. It rules over our children, our greatest creation. It also rules over romance and entertainment. So if you've been trying to get pregnant for a while and it has been virtually impossible for you to make this happen, this is the time that it's going to happen. I'm not saying it's going to happen on the day of the conjunction. This conjunction has 14 years to unfold. So some of you will become parents and some of you could become grandparents. Uranus makes things happen suddenly. So if you're not looking to have any more children or any children at all, I suggest that you use some type of protection because this is the time that you're going to be, whoops, we are pregnant. So that is a very huge possibility here. And if you're an artist and you've been trying to produce music and you've been going unnoticed, this is the time that you could get very lucky and have some of your music get noticed, or some of your music videos get noticed, or perhaps your artwork will be noticed at this time. Fifth house is also the house of luck and gambling. Capricorn is one of the signs that could have a financial windfall through taking some financial risks with the stock investments, or perhaps going to the casino one night, or buying a couple of lottery tickets. Just spend money that you can afford to lose just in case. So let's look at the other houses that Jupiter rules in your chart. Jupiter rules the third house and the 12th house. The third house rules over our immediate environment. It rules over our siblings. It rules over our mind, our speech. It also rules over gadgets, computers, and it also rules social media. So if you use social media to promote your so some of you may have luck in that you use social media to promote your work and you get a lucky break at this time. I have to put this warning out there simply because the 12th house is the house of loss. It's the house of our hidden enemies. It's the house of self-sabotage. So for some of you, a small amount of you, it could be that you go out gambling, you're winning, you're getting ahead, you have all this money and you just get really ambitious and decide to keep gambling, and then it leads to losses. So if you are out there gambling and you win something, be smart enough to walk away from the table so that you can keep your winnings, because with the 12th house being stimulated, with Jupiter also ruling the 12th house, it's very likely that some of you experience some type of loss at this time. So Uranus rules the second house in the zodiac, and the second house is another financial house. It rules over our earning ability. it rules over our earning ability, our self-esteem. If we're making money, taking care of bills, taking care of our families, we feel really good about ourselves. But if things are not going that way for you, then you're not feeling so good about yourself. The second house rules over what we love and value. You could have sudden luck with your earning ability. Perhaps you start a new venture, and that venture includes a lot of promotion because the third house is being stimulated. You're putting yourself out there, you're talking about your services or whatever it is that you're creating. Then you start making a lot of money. So, whatever you're starting at this time could be something that could really provide for you and your family for years to come. Your ruling planet Saturn is aspecting this conjunction in a very positive aspect that we call a sextile, that we call a trine. Capricorn, this is one of the most positive aspects you can want in you can have in astrology. Jupiter brings the abundance, and Saturn puts a stamp on it, puts a seal on it, and helps you hold that abundance together. He sets limits on it. So remember my advice about being out there gambling and learning and knowing when to stop? Saturn will probably tell you, probably through your subconscious, because Saturn is in the sign of Pisces, where it's a very subconscious place. It is another 12th house, or in the zodiac, it's a natural 12th house in the zodiac. So you can see this potential of win big and maybe lose some, or potentially lose big, depending on what's really going on in your own natal birth chart. So if you want to know how this transit is going to affect you personally, I suggest that you book a reading with me at rachel-mayo.com. Aquarius, ascendant, sun or moon. You are a fixed sign, so you're going to be aspected by a square aspect. This is a challenging aspect in astrology. So this conjunction is happening in your fourth house. This is where you're going to have a brand new 14-year cycle. The fourth house is an angle house, and when an angle house is activated, it activates all the other angles. So essentially, this means that your whole entire life could absolutely change as a result of this transit. It may not be exactly easy or what you expected, simply because you are going to be pushed into taking action. You have to do some work here to make things happen. So the fourth house is the most sensitive part of the chart. It is the IC. It rules over our home, our family, our ancestry, our deep resentments, which could be about our family or our background. This house also rules over your home and your mother. So this is the main area where we're going to have this major change and shake up in our lives. So the fourth house opposes the 10th house. The 10th house is a public house. This is where when things happen, it is announced to the public or the public knows. It rules over our work area, the government, and this is also the parental axis. So there could be something that is going on with your mother or your father, depending on who was the more nurturing parent. But most people say the fourth house is the mother. So there's something going on at your job, and because of what's going on in your job area, it's going to affect your home area. So some of you may actually have to move homes because perhaps you have a new job that's paying you a lot of money and you cannot stay in the same location because it would just make more sense for you to live closer to your job. The ascendant is the other angle, that is you, the self, is also being stimulated. So you're taking part in this conjunction. You have a major say. You're in control of your destiny, of the direction of where things will go. And it's also affecting your descendant, your partnership area. Of course, if you make all these changes in your life, they are going to affect your intimate, your committed relationships, your marriage, and perhaps your business partner, or whoever it is that you have a relationship with. Some of you could be buying a home as a result of this conjunction because it's bringing luck into your home area, and Jupiter expands whatever it touches. So Jupiter is going to unexpectedly expand your home. So perhaps you have other people joining your home. So perhaps you have other people moving into your home, perhaps a parent, perhaps you're going to be taking care of a parent. Perhaps a parent is going to move in with you, and for others, maybe your family is growing. So perhaps there's an addition through a birth at this time. So let's look at what Jupiter rules in your chart. Jupiter rules your second house. Second house is your earning. Second house rules over your earning ability, your self-esteem. When you're earning a good living, you feel good about yourself, so you have good self-esteem. And when you're not, you have low self-esteem. So this house is being stimulated, and it is a financial house. So this is where one can make the connection of having a better paying job and the ability to be able to move homes because you have more money coming in. And the 11th house is another house that Jupiter rules, which is also a very lucky house. This is the house that rules over promotions. It rules over the rewards of all the work that we did in the 10th house. 10th house again is highlighted here. So if you've been working hard at a job, this is the time that you're getting the promotion. This is the time you're getting the extra pay. This is the time that you're getting recognized in the groups that you belong in. Perhaps some of you are getting financial backing through a benefactor. Because we have benefactors in the 11th house. And finally, the other planet in the conjunction, of course, is Uranus, and Uranus is one of your other ruling planets. So this is where I said that this is really going to affect you very personally. Your entire life could change as a result of this conjunction. Aquarius, Pluto just started transiting your sign. So you're going through a lot of breakdown, and you're going to have to transform who you are. So there is a square from Venus at the time of this conjunction. So there's a lot more going on with your story at this time. So this is a time that you're going to remember for many years to come. Aquarius, if you've not listened to the Aries total solar eclipse video, I suggest that you go back and listen to it because there's a bit more information that can actually help you understand what is going on. Your other ruling planet, Saturn, is a big part of this conjunction because he's making a sextile from the sign of Pisces to the conjunction in Aries. So essentially he's sextiling you. So whatever it is that changes in your life at this time, your entire life, Saturn is putting a stamp and a seal of approval on whatever it is that's going to happen at this time. This transit is absolutely going to change your life, Aquarius. It might not feel easy. It might make you feel anxious and uncertain because of the suddenness and because it's just so many changes going on at the same time everywhere. Aquarius, if you'd like to know how this is going to affect you personally, I suggest that you book a reading with me at rachel-mayo.com. Pisces ascendant, sun or moon. This transit is probably going to be quite positive for you simply because your sign sextiles the sign of Taurus, and the sextile aspect brings opportunities, but these opportunities only work out to our advantage if we take advantage of them. So you have to take action at this time. And there's a lot more going on with your story at this time because your ruling planet is Jupiter, so he is part of this conjunction. You are part of this conjunction, and you have a lot of power and say at this time. And you're also hosting Mars, who's transiting your sign at this time. And let's not forget that Neptune is back in your sign, is also transiting your sign at this time. So Pisces, you have a lot going on. You have a lot going on at the same time of the conjunction. If you haven't watched my video on the Aries total solar eclipse, I suggest that you go back and watch it because there's a lot more going on that is pivoting from that point of the solar eclipse. So go back and watch that video. So where is this going to happen for you? This is going to happen in your third house. This is where you're having a brand new 14-year cycle. The third house rules over our immediate environment. It rules over our siblings. It rules over computers, gadgets. It rules the mind. It rules communication. It also rules over speech, whatever you say or whatever you write. It also rules over our vehicles that we use to get around back and forth to work or in our immediate environment. So this is the area where you'll begin a brand new 14-year cycle. We have already established that Jupiter rules you and it also rules your 10th house. So you're taking part in this conjunction to bring about results in your third house, in your immediate environment. And that could have to do with whatever is going on with your public self, your image, your status in society, the government, and perhaps a parent, because that is also a parental axis. We have to put all these things together to see what could possibly happen and how it could occur in your third house. We also have to look at what Uranus rules. Uranus rules your 12th house. The 12th house of the zodiac is a house of loss. So we have to keep in mind, so be careful not to make any rash investments at this time. It's very likely that you have some losses as a result of your action, as a result of the actions that you could take at this time to change your immediate environment. And if you're considering to start a business with a sibling, I suggest that you really investigate this business venture very carefully before you just jump into it. Remember, Mars is transiting your house, so it could be making you impulsive, and Pisces is not an impulsive sign, but Mars will bring a lot of energy in whichever sign it transits. So you have this impulsive energy of Mars, who was the ruler of the previous solar eclipse and is ruler of the North Node. So you could be wanting to really make impulsive changes at this time. I suggest you slow down, because remember, Mercury is moving retrograde still. If you have to communicate something to someone that is really serious, I suggest that you give it some further thought and wait to sign on the dotted line after Mercury is moving direct. Since the 10th house is also stimulated, it could be that some of you have a major change in your work status. You have to learn how to work with technology, perhaps AI, because it is, after all, happening in the third house. This is where we're going to see this unexpected change or breakthrough. If some of you have been having some type of barrier, mental barrier, this is the time that you will probably be liberated. You have a breakthrough and you'll be able to put your thoughts together. Perhaps you're in process of writing a book and you were blocked somewhere. This conjunction is going to really going to help you open your mind and to have a breakthrough in that area. Perhaps you're going to write a novel that is going to become a bestseller. This is something that I would definitely encourage, because Uranus ruling your 12th house since Uranus rules your 12th house, it gives you a very active, almost brilliant type of way of processing things in a secret way behind the scenes. So usually when people write, they write in seclusion. So this could be energy that you could use to write a bestseller. And sometimes people do put in years into writing a bestseller. So this is definitely the time for you to start, because this area is going to be also stimulated. Third house rules over our immediate environment. It could also mean that there will be unexpected changes in your immediate environment. Some of you could actually be moving for the first time in a long time, and you're all of a sudden living in a totally different environment from the environment that you're used to, the environment that you're accustomed to. So this is a real possibility for some. And since the 12th house is the house of loss and generational karma that you have inherited just simply because of the family that you were born into. You had nothing to do with this karma. You just inherited it. this could be a time that you're paying out something or losing out something because of your generational karma. The 12th house is a house of loss. You can't run away from that. So Pisces, this is not a very favorable transit for you to go out there and make rash decisions about gambling or investing in stocks, because there is a possibility that you could lose and lose big time. And this is definitely not definite for everyone. It all depends on your own natal birth chart and what else is being activated with this, along with this conjunction. So in order for you to find out how that is going to affect you personally, I suggest that you book a reading with me at rachel-mayo.com.